to my channel. My name is Alex K. I'm a kettlebell expert. I'm here to teach you how to use the kettlebell safely and effectively. So the topic that I'd like to cover today is how to correctly insert your hand into the kettlebell handle, into that little window that's within the kettlebell handle. Okay, it's very important that we insert our hand correctly so that we can save ourselves a lot of pain and discomfort later on when we're doing kettlebell exercises or exercises that are a bit more specific to kettlebell usage. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start out basically on my knees in front of this kettlebell. I've got the handle in an east-west trajectory, okay? I'm going to turn that 45 degrees, okay? 45 degrees now, and the right portion is further away from my right side because I'm going to use my right hand for this. I've got that east-west trajectory. I've turned it 45 degrees. I've moved the right horn away from me. Now I'm going to take the webbing between my thumb and forefinger and I'm going to insert that into the uppermost corner of that window, okay? So I want to press that into the window. And my hand is moving directly away from me. So for me, I'm going in a northerly direction with that hand. So the webbing between my thumb and forefinger comes into contact with the uppermost portion of that window in the kettlebell handle. The back of my forearm, or my wrist guard in this case, the back of my forearm is going to come into contact with the left horn of the kettlebell, but right up against the bell on the actual ball of the kettlebell itself. Okay, so thumb and forefinger webbing into the uppermost corner, and as I push the kettlebell away from me, the back of my forearm comes into contact with the round part of the kettlebell as well as against the other horn in that kettlebell window. That's the contact that I want with the kettlebell. Webbing between my thumb and forefinger in the uppermost portion of the horn that's most furthest away from me, and the back of my forearm against the bell and the horn that's closest to me. I'm going to try to keep that arrangement, grab the kettlebell, and just bring that into position. Now I'm going to come closer so that you can see where we're at. So I have contact here. There's no gap. There's contact there, and there's contact in that OK symbol between the webbing of my thumb and forefinger. From fingertips to elbow, nice straight line, okay? Now the kettlebell is effectively resting in that V shape between my upper and lower forearm, my forearm and my upper arm, okay? So it's resting against my body. That's what I want. It's comfortable, nice straight line. I don't need to worry about my grip in this position. I don't need to grip onto the kettlebell. In fact, if I could grab the kettlebell handle, my hand position would be incorrect. I can effectively close my fingers. They don't close on the kettlebell handle. That handle is running at a 45-degree angle down through the palm of my hand. So when I move and I perform something like a kettlebell press, it's comfortable. A lot of people will hold the kettlebell handle like this, and they'll end up like this. And that's going to create a lot of stress and strain on that wrist, especially as you try and press. It's not good. Create those angles. 45 degrees through the palm, webbing between thumb and forefinger in this corner, against the bell here, no gap, nestled into my body. That's my kettlebell rack position, and I can perform squats, presses, whatever I need to. It is important that we grip the kettlebell handle correctly. For the most part, if the kettlebell is above my waist during an exercise, that's how I'm going to hold the kettlebell handle. If the kettlebell is below my waist for a kettlebell exercise, I'm either going to take a full grip or just a hook grip. So if we're swinging the kettlebell, straight into that rack position, 45 degrees. That's how to correctly insert your hand into the kettlebell handle. It's very important if you're using this particular tool because the weight is offset from the handle. If I was using a dumbbell and pressing it overhead, I would just use a standard grip because the weight sits nicely in that handle. With a kettlebell, the handle is here, the weight is there. So I want to make sure that I grip that correctly. Hope that helps. If you have any comments, pop them below. Otherwise, I'll see you next time.